Earlier today, the Majority Report discussed something that I think is of great value to all of us. It's the UAW strike, led by UAW President Shawn Fain, who is, in my opinion, just crushing it, doing a fantastic job. Let's help him out. Let's help him out. Here's the Majority Report breaking down the situation as it is thus far.
Friday, if they don't make significant progress, there are going to be more stand-up strikes. Reporting today was writing, I think it was was it in Business Insider, that showed that the car companies were so tripped up by where the strike was going to start.
The Intercept.
It was the Intercept. Sorry, it was the Intercept.
Yeah.
The car companies were so tripped up as to where the strikes were going to take place that they actually took factories offline.
Yeah,
mistakenly, and ended up like essentially self-striking.
Oh, that's great.
They looked in. Apparently, some information got into trade publications that certain plants were going to be striking, and so they moved like trucks and a whole bunch of stuff from those plants that they thought were going to be striking into other plants. Those other plants turned out to be the ones that were striking, so now all of a sudden they had all the stuff they needed to work, and the ones that weren't striking didn't have anything they needed to do work anyway.
And I'll tell you what really, I mean, aside from that being hilarious and obviously more effective for the union, but what it also shows you is it shows you the knowledge base that these workers have of these companies.
How
Like, we
integral
are
they
led
are.
to we are led to believe, the narrative is there are a bunch of drones that do their job, and if it wasn't for the maestro at the top of the company who was deploying them in the exact way and setting them up so that they worked in the exact way, these mindless little drones would have no value, which is why they don't participate in the success of these companies, which is why they can justify in the minds of these CEOs why they get 320 times the pay that any of these little drones do, because
You couldn't do what I do. I went to the fancy school where somebody told me the secrets of business, and they whispered into my ear the magic of the industry and of capital, and I learned the old ways and the new. And this information was kept from you, your minds, simple working peasants. Your minds couldn't sustain themselves if they had to carry this information that I have, this heavy burden of the knowledge of how to run a company. Which is why I deserve, nay, need, require the literal wheelbarrows full of money that I get every month, every week, every day. Why I have, instead of a bank vault, that warehouse full of crates from from one of those Indiana Jones movies, Raiders of the Lost Ark, but it's just full of gold bullion. I need that to deal with the weight of all the knowledge in my mind brain that you simple peasants couldn't fathom. That's what they would have us believe. Shawn Fain and the UAW, in conflict with them, are putting their knowledge to the test. And what? Oh, stick, move, dip, mix. Blicky, Mickey. Whipping their ass. Because they actually work for a living. And they know how the product is made. They know how the product is sold. They know how the product ships. They're familiar with the industry. Not a bunch of bullshit. They have put light on the lie that these pampered have earned their ridiculous pay. They have not. They do no work at all that I am frankly aware of. But if they do a job, it certainly is not a job that requires the compensation they get for it. The reason they get that compensation for it is because they have been allowed to take it. Hell yeah. Go, Shawn Fain. Take it back. Go, UAW. Take it back from these punks.
Because they're the brains, and the other ones are sort of like the monkeys that are just told what to do. But one of the things that this illustrates, the fact that the union could outsmart the car companies in such a dramatic fashion. Like, not only can we tell you, fake you out as to where we're going to strike, we know how you're going to react to this because we understand how this manufacturing process works in a way that you don't even understand. And so it puts to lie the narrative that the C-suite is so deserving of so much more money, which is the broader narrative that we have in our economy, where there's a reason why these CEOs get all this money. It's because they're worth it. And really, the reason why these CEOs get this money is that they're in a club that basically pays all of its members. It's a very limited club. And once you show that you're willing to do that and you can't do that and you're a trusted member of this club, that's where your value comes from.
First of all, boom. Second of all, wireless mic. I've got to pause it to read that. You could not fathom the enormity of it, you fools. Yes, that is absolutely what they are saying. Christy Z, men used to say all that to women. Yeah, and it was bullshit then too. It's a look. I will humanize these monsters in one way only. It's a very human thing to try to take more than you earn. Greed is a human thing, but when we acknowledge that, we also have to prepare for it.
We're going to hire you as a board of directors if you're able to kick back money to us through buybacks and through stock options and whatnot. And then we'll kick that money to you based upon how much you enrich us. And in terms of the broader prospects of the company, those are second order issues. First order is, how does our little cottage industry embedded within that corporation work? Here is it's like Shawn Fain. Clip, yeah. It's very quick.
It's his first tweet, so I wasn't even sure this was actually.
For the record, before they say it, let me underline this. I don't know that this is actually Shawn Fain's Twitter. They don't know that this is actually Shawn Fain's Twitter, but it's a fitting post. So there you go. It describes the situation.
Actually, like a real Shawn Fain, because if you hover over him, Bradley, he's new to Twitter. But I've seen a lot of people but hover over that because he still only has like 5,000 followers. So I was unclear if this is definitely.
Is it
Shawn
definitely
Fain.
him?
But I mean. Like Jonah Furman follows him. Like a lot of like the labor people seem to be acting as if he, did just start up Twitter to post.
All right, so this may or may not be from Shawn Fain, but the point is, they got a deadline at noon Friday, in which case he's going to roll out, and maybe it's not Shawn Fain, maybe it is, but this is the God bless you Twix or Twitter X or whatever it is. We can't really tell for sure, but this is the message.
You about done? Tick tock, motherfucker.
There you go.
I don't know that movie.
Yeah, I don't think that it was. That's the Hitman's Bodyguard.
I don't think so. Yeah.
Go out to a picket line if you're in the area. There's one in Michigan, one in Tennessee. Where's the third one? Give a honk. Bring him pizza or something like that.
And if you're, I was telling this, I know a lot of people got off Twitter because of our boy Elon, but now's a good time to be flooding your local news Facebook comments, Twitter, with pro-union, consider pro-union messages.
Wait, that's important enough that we're gonna underline it in a moment. Mars Falcon has unfortunately cracked the code on this, though. He's pointed out that's actually Hollywood actor Samuel L. Jackson, not Shawn Fain. Oh well. Well, still, still, good message. All right, so Matt, super producer Matt Leck. What can we do to support the UAW? If we are here exhausted after a long work day, how can we generally lend our support?
Twitter with pro-union, your local news. But now's a good time to be flooding your local news Facebook comments, Twitter with pro-union, considered pro-union messages to flood the zone with this sort of stuff, because there's
former digital producer here. Do that. At some point the news director will turn to the digital producer, or if it's a big station, digital producers, or if it's a huge station, the digital department, and they will say, what are people saying about this? Pop on to their Facebook. If you have a Facebook account, go on to your local news' Facebook account. Comment pro-union stuff. Go on to their Twitter. Comment pro-union stuff. Go on to anything they have. The stars of your local newscast will all, if it's a properly functioning station, they'll all have their own social media accounts, which they are told to maintain and to watch. Go on to their accounts. Drop some pro-union stuff. Just make it crystal clear to the people reporting on this that you're following this stuff and you give a damn, and above all else, you're on the side of the human beings, not the millionaires.
I've seen my local news in North Dakota talking about it, and not a whole lot of comments on that stuff. And it's important, except like crypto guys being weird about it. So like it's good to flood the zone and support.
So, after Sanders and Jeffries make appearances on the picket line for the UAW, the White House is contemplating going after, in the wake of the Cemex case, where we see the import of the National Labor Relations Board appointed by
and so on and so forth. That's even worse than I thought. Oh, well, how about this? And we're recording the whole thing. Hey, VOD Watchers, you get to see a little taste of what the live stream is like. Usually me knocking over the set multiple times during the show. Look, it sounds simple. It sounds like chirping into the wind, let's say. But it's really not. There are literally professions that revolve around monitoring local news social media content. Just so you know how the food chain works in this information age, it goes from a thing happening on the street to the local news covering it, and if it's a popular enough story, or if it's an interesting enough story, or if it matches with what the big cats want to talk about, that then goes up the chain. So your local NBC affiliate, if you see WXYZ, I think they're with ABC around here, let's just stick with ABC. They will then provide that package that they film on the Union or whatever to ABC. Or if it's an NBC affiliate, they'll provide whatever to NBC, and it's a mutually beneficial relationship. In exchange for that, just so you know, their channel, their local TV station, gets to play content made nationally. And that's how they go on going on. So you can affect the national narrative on this simply by leaving Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, whatever, comments. It's that easy. if you want to support these unions, I would recommend you do exactly that. Thank you, super producer Matt Leck. I will set aside my insane jealousy of what you do every day in order to give you the credit you earned on this one.